Welcome to the show. This show is going to be about creating the perfect exposure. Um, that way, the picture is not overly exposed with too much light, or also not underexposed. That means you didn't have enough light. Okay. With that being said, here we go. Okay. In order to learn photography, you gotta learn three things: shutter speed, your aperture, and your ISO. That's what you gotta start with. The shutter speed. See, your shutter speed, the faster you go. Right now it's at 80. It's 100, 125, 160, 200, 250, 320, 400, 500, 640, 800, 1000, 1250. See? 1600, 2000, 2500, 3200, 4000. So that's extremely fast. So that's the reason it turns dark. Now we're gonna put the shutter speed back. Sit right there. And now we're gonna deal with the aperture. The aperture does the same thing. The aperture is like your eyes, the iris. It opens and closes like an eye. And so the apertures right here are 5.6, 6.3, 7.1, 8.0, 9.0, 10, 11, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22. Okay? So that also creates a dark image. And then the last thing is your ISO. In order to make that possible, ISO, let's see, the ISO, let me see, the lower the number, the darker it is. Okay, so let's do this. So it's at 100 right now, 200, 125, 200, 400, 800, 1600, 3200, 6400. So as you can see, it brings the light back up. So that's what you need to know right now, is knowing that the shutter speed turns off the light and it brings light. And then you have your ISO, which is the same thing, and the aperture does too. Now the problem is trying to create a balance, a perfect exposure. What do I mean by that? Well, you see this little line right here at the bottom. What you gotta do is try to put that right in the center, right there. See, that's perfect exposure. You see that line move right here on the bottom? That's overexposed. That means too much light. And this one right here is underexposed. Not enough light. So the key to photography in the beginning is trying to figure out the three combinations between the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture. You gotta combine them and create the perfect exposure, which is right in the center right there. Now the problem with photography is not knowing what else is involved with these settings. For example, Here's the shutter speed. Shutter speed, the faster you go, the faster, the more, let's say somebody's running or somebody's, we want to watch a football game, you record, take pictures of a football game, or if you want to, let's say, take a picture of a bird or hummingbird or something like that. So the shutter speed, in order to capture that, you gotta raise it up way up there, like 400 for a sport, like wrestling or track, like 400, 500. And then for a bird, more like 1,000. But you see what the consequence of doing that is, it darkens your picture. So what you need to do is, okay, I'm gonna put the setting of the shutter speed, for example, first, and say, okay, it's gonna be a fast sport, so I'll put it at 1,000. But if you look at your image, you see it's dark, right? So what you're gonna do, then you gotta fiddle with the other two settings to make up the balance. You see the bottom is underexposed because it's dark. So now you gotta fiddle with your aperture. Now you're gonna move your aperture. You're gonna bring some more light in. See, that's 14. It started off at 22. It's at 20, 18, 16, 14. The key is to look at the bottom. This is a light meter. It tells you exactly what is the perfect exposure. It's not dark and it's not too bright. You gotta be right in the middle. So you move it. 13, 11, 10, 8. It's almost there. There's one stop under. It's still good right here. You could put it right here if you like. If you don't have flash, you go right there. Okay. Anyway, and I just, to really be perfectly exposed, to be right there. That's 5.6. So now we have 1,000 speed, shutter speed. We have a 5.6, and the ISO is at 6,400. And that's right now you're set for natural photography. It has nothing to do with flash now. That's a complete different story right there. So now, knowing photography, you have to know that the 6,400 is pretty high, okay, for ISO, because the higher you go, the brighter it is in ISO. And that's right here on the right side, 6,400, okay. But 6,400 is pretty high. The lower you go in the ISO, the better the quality. So what you need to do here, even though this is acceptable and it works, but now if you take this picture, it'll be decent, but if it's not going to be a professional shot, because you want to keep the quality as high as possible. And if you're outside, there's no reason to really have that high, all right? Because that's, that's a high ISO, and the higher the ISO, the better, the worse quality is going to be. The grainier is going to be the picture. So what you try to do is try to balance the ISO and the aperture and the speed together, and go center the exposure and center. And for example, now knowing that the ISO is a little high, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit, but then that's gonna darken it up because I'm gonna bring down the ISO. So I'm gonna do it and show you what I mean. So I'm gonna lower it down. So I'm lowering it down because I want better quality. ISO is quality. The light hits the sensor. But anyway, that's another story. So just drop down the ISO because you want higher quality of the picture. And still acceptable, as you can see, 500. Okay, let's do 400 right now. Then I'm gonna push the shutter speed, the shutter. And you can see where it is. It's acceptable. Yeah, it's still natural photography, so it'll be fine. All right. Okay, now I'm gonna I want to lower it down just to get better quality still. So I'm gonna lower down the ISO to 1600 and look at the meter. You gotta look at the meter to see where it is. But again, what you want to try to do is put the meter in the center. That's perfect exposure. All right, there's no flash involved. Now let's say, anyway, I don't want to go into flash yet. So for now, we just go to natural photography. So right now we have a 400 shutter speed, and we have 5.6 aperture, and now we have the ISO is at 1250. Again, compared to 100,